Welcome back as we take you to a very deep and amazing journey of relaxation of bedtime story. Please like and subscribe to the channel so we can get your request on a story you want to listen to. Before we start, make sure you are very comfortable and in a very warm spot. Take a deep breath and make sure to focus your mind entirely on your breathing, forgetting about your worries in this short while as you get the best treatment you can give your brain. Okay, let's begin. In the heart of the ancient world, under a vast canopy of twinkling stars, the Achaemenid Empire stretched across endless horizons, from the shimmering sands of Persia to the distant mountains of India. It was a realm born from the vision of Cyrus the Great, a ruler whose name echoed through the ages like a whisper on the midnight wind. In the capital of Pasargadae, where the moonlight bathed the stone palaces in silver, the empire's story began with a dream of unity, of lands woven together under one benevolent crown. Cyrus, a man of both wisdom and valor, gazed upon the night sky as if the constellations themselves guided his path. He saw not just tribes and warring kingdoms, but a tapestry of people who could live as one under the gentle glow of peace. The air was thick with the scent of jasmine and cedar, carried on breezes that swept through the royal gardens, where fountains murmured secrets of the past. Every night, as the empire slumbered, the guards stood watch, their bronze armor glinting under torchlight, while the people dreamed of a future as boundless as the heavens above. But beneath this serene surface, whispers of unrest stirred like shadows in the dark, for even in the most powerful of empires, the seeds of challenge lay hidden, waiting for the right moment to emerge. As the moon rose high, casting long shadows over the citadel, a young scribe named Dariush, who served in the royal archives, stumbled upon an ancient scroll. It was said to hold the key to a forgotten magic, a power that could either safeguard the empire or bring it to its knees. Dariush, with his ink-stained fingers and curious eyes, felt the weight of destiny as he unrolled the parchment under the dim flicker of an oil lamp. The scroll spoke of a hidden realm beneath the earth, a labyrinth of caverns where the spirits of old kings guarded a celestial gem, a stone that could summon visions of the future under the starlit sky. Intrigued and fearful, Dariush kept this discovery secret, knowing that such power in the wrong hands could shatter the fragile peace Cyrus had built. He spent countless nights poring over the cryptic symbols, the silence of the archive broken only by the rustle of parchment and the distant hoot of an owl perched on the palace walls. The empire, vast as it was, seemed to hum with an unseen energy, as if the very stones of Pasargadae knew of the magic buried beneath them. Meanwhile, in the bustling markets of Babylon, a merchant named Artaxerxes overheard tales of a strange light seen in the desert on moonless nights, a glow that some claimed was the breath of ancient gods. Artaxerxes, a man of keen mind and weathered hands, wondered if this light was tied to the empire's fate, for he had seen omens in his dreams, visions of a burning city under a blood-red sky. He decided to seek answers, packing his caravan with goods and setting out under the cover of darkness, guided only by the faint shimmer of starlight. His journey took him through desolate valleys where the wind howled like a mournful spirit, and past crumbling ruins where the echoes of forgotten battles lingered in the air. Along the way, he encountered a mysterious seeress named Zeren, whose eyes seemed to hold the weight of 1,000 midnights. She spoke in riddles, her voice soft as a lullaby carried on the night breeze, warning him of a trial that would test the heart of the empire. Zeren gifted him a small amulet, carved from obsidian, which she claimed would guide him to the truth when the stars aligned. Artaxerxes clutched the amulet, feeling its cool surface against his palm, and pressed onward, driven by a need to protect the land he called home. As the nights grew longer and the empire's borders stretched ever wider, Cyrus himself began to sense a disturbance, a tremor in the fabric of his realm that he could not name. He stood on the balcony of his palace, the cool marble beneath his feet, and watched the horizon where the first hints of dawn battled the lingering darkness. His advisors spoke of distant rebellions, of whispers in the provinces that questioned his rule, but Cyrus knew there was something deeper, something tied to the ancient magic that pulsed beneath the earth. He summoned Darius, the young scribe, to share what he had uncovered, hoping the boy's knowledge might illuminate the path forward. Together they pored over maps and legends, tracing the lines of forgotten roads that led to the heart of the desert, where the labyrinth was said to lie. The palace, with its towering columns and intricate friezes, seemed to hold its breath as the king and the scribe planned their journey, a quest that would take them into the unknown under the watchful gaze of a crescent moon. Their preparations were meticulous, for the desert was a merciless place, its sands hiding both danger and wonder beneath their golden waves. They gathered provisions, camels, and a small band of trusted warriors, each sworn to protect the secret they carried. The night before their departure, a great feast was held in the palace hall, where the aroma of roasted lamb and honeyed dates filled the air, and the sound of lutes mingled with laughter. Yet, beneath the revelry, there was an undercurrent of unease, for all knew that the journey ahead would test their courage and resolve. As the firelight danced on the walls, casting flickering shadows, Cyrus raised his goblet and spoke of a vision, a dream of an empire that would endure through the ages, as eternal as the stars themselves. His words stirred the hearts of all who heard them, and as the feast ended, the palace settled into a quiet slumber, the only sound the soft rustle of silk curtains in the breeze. Darius, unable to sleep, wandered the gardens, his mind racing with thoughts of the labyrinth and the celestial gem. He looked up at the sky, where a shooting star streaked across the velvet darkness, and made a silent wish for guidance. Little did he know that far to the west, Artaxerxes and Zeren were drawing closer to the same desert heart, their paths destined to cross under a sky painted with the hues of twilight. The empire, vast and sprawling, seemed to hold its secrets close, revealing them only to those bold enough to seek them in the quiet of the night. The journey of Cyrus and Darius would soon intertwine with that of Artaxerxes, weaving a tale of magic, loyalty, and the eternal dance between light and shadow that defines the dreams of empires. And so, under the watchful eyes of ancient spirits, the story of the Achaemenid Empire unfolded, a saga written in starlight and whispered on the winds of time. As the night deepened, the world seemed to pause, waiting for the next chapter to reveal itself in the soft embrace of dreams yet to come. As the caravan of Cyrus the Great moved across the endless desert under a sky ablaze with stars, the air grew heavy with the scent of dust and ancient stone, a reminder of the timeless land they traversed. The king rode at the forefront, his cloak billowing like a shadow in the moonlight, while Dariush, the young scribe, clutched the ancient scroll close to his chest, its secrets burning in his mind like embers in the dark. The warriors who accompanied them kept their eyes sharp, scanning the horizon for signs of danger, their spears glinting faintly under the pale glow of a waning moon. Each step of the camels stirred the sand into ghostly swirls, and the silence of the night was broken only by the occasional grunt of the beasts or the soft clink of armor. They were headed toward the fabled labyrinth, a place whispered about in legends as a realm where the earth itself guarded the dreams of forgotten kings. The desert stretched endlessly before them, its dunes rising and falling like the waves of a petrified sea. And as the night wore on, a strange chill settled over the group, as if the very air carried the weight of unseen eyes watching from the shadows. Dariush, though young, felt a stirring within him, a sense of purpose that seemed to grow stronger with every passing hour under the celestial dome. He often glanced at the scroll, wondering if the celestial gem it spoke of truly held the power to glimpse the future, or if it was merely a tale spun by storytellers under lantern-lit tents on quiet evenings. Meanwhile, miles away, Artaxerxes and the seeress Zeren approached the same desolate heart of the desert, guided by the obsidian amulet that pulsed faintly with a warmth of its own. The merchant's caravan was smaller, burdened with trade goods but driven by a determination as fierce as the winds that sculpted the dunes. Zeren, with her shawl of midnight blue, seemed to blend into the night itself, her presence both comforting and unsettling as she murmured prophecies under her breath. She spoke of a convergence, a meeting of souls under a sky split by a falling star, and Artaxerxes felt a shiver run through him, though whether from fear or anticipation, he could not tell. Their journey had not been without peril. They had narrowly escaped a band of nomadic raiders, their cries echoing through the night like the howls of wolves, and had crossed a ravine where the bones of ancient travelers lay bleached under the unrelenting sun. Now, as the stars wheeled overhead, they neared a cluster of jagged rocks that marked the rumored entrance to the labyrinth, a place where the veil between worlds was said to be thin, where dreams and reality danced a delicate waltz. Artaxerxes touched the amulet, feeling its subtle hum, and wondered if the strange light he had heard of in Babylon would reveal itself here, under the cloak of darkness. Back with Cyrus's caravan, the king called for a halt as the first hints of dawn painted the horizon in shades of amber and violet, though the night still held sway over the land. They had reached a vast sinkhole in the desert, its edges crumbling into darkness, a yawning maw that seemed to swallow the starlight itself. This, Dariush whispered, was the gateway to the labyrinth, the place where the scroll's cryptic map ended and the true test began. Cyrus dismounted, his presence commanding even in the stillness of the pre-dawn hour, and ordered torches to be lit. The flames cast flickering shadows on the faces of his warriors, revealing a mix of resolve and uncertainty as they peered into the abyss. The air here was cooler, tinged with the musty scent of earth and stone, and a faint hum seemed to rise from the depths, like the heartbeat of the desert itself. Dariush, trembling slightly, read aloud from the scroll, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment, recounting a ritual that would awaken the spirits of the labyrinth and grant passage to those deemed worthy. The words were ancient, their meaning half lost to time, but as he spoke, the ground beneath them trembled, and a soft ethereal glow emerged from the sinkhole, bathing the group in a light as pale as moonlight. It was a sign, a beckoning from the unseen, and Cyrus, ever the leader, stepped forward, his gaze fixed on the path ahead, ready to face whatever lay beneath the sands in the name of his empire. As the first of his warriors followed, tying ropes to descend into the unknown, the night seemed to deepen around them, the stars above bearing witness to a moment that would echo through the annals of history. The convergence Zarin had foretold was near, for Artaxerxes and his companion were but a ridge away, their own torches flickering as they too gazed upon the same sinkhole, drawn by forces beyond their understanding. The desert, vast and silent, held its breath as two paths prepared to merge, two quests united under the same celestial canopy, their destinies intertwined like the threads of a dream woven in the quiet of twilight. The Achaemenid Empire, sprawling and mighty, stood on the brink of a revelation, one that would either solidify its reign or cast it into the shadows of forgotten lore. And so, as the night lingered, the story of courage and mystery continued to unfold, a tale to be told under countless starry skies for generations yet to come. Subscribe for more nightly tales. Far beneath the desert's surface, where the labyrinth's winding tunnels swallowed the last traces of starlight, Cyrus the Great and his band pressed forward, their torches casting long, wavering shadows on walls etched with faded glyphs of a forgotten age. The air was thick with the scent of damp stone and ancient dust, each breath heavy with the weight of history as they descended deeper into the earth's embrace. The hum that had beckoned them from above grew louder here, a resonant pulse that seemed to vibrate through the very rock, guiding them through narrow passages where the ceiling loomed low and the silence was broken only by the crunch of gravel underfoot. Dariush, clutching the scroll, traced his fingers over the carvings, piecing together fragments of a story, a tale of a celestial gem forged in the heart of a fallen star, a relic that could reveal the dreams of tomorrow to those who proved their worth. The young scribe's heart raced as he deciphered warnings of trials ahead, challenges of mind and spirit that guarded the gem from unworthy hands. Cyrus, ever resolute, led with a steady hand, his voice a quiet anchor in the oppressive dark, urging his warriors to remain vigilant as strange whispers seemed to echo from unseen corners, like the murmurs of restless spirits guarding their eternal slumber. The labyrinth twisted and turned, a maze of choices where every wrong path could lead to oblivion, and the flickering torchlight revealed fleeting glimpses of skeletal remains, remnants of those who had ventured here under past moons and never returned. Above ground, under the same vault of endless night, Artaxerxes and Zeren found their own entrance to the labyrinth, a hidden crevice marked by the faint glow of the obsidian amulet, its warmth now a steady pulse against the merchant's skin. Zaren's eyes gleamed with an otherworldly light as she touched the stone walls, sensing the magic that coursed through them like rivers of midnight. She spoke softly of a vision she had seen in her dreams, a chamber where two flames would meet, their light uniting to awaken the gem's power, and Artaxerxes felt a surge of hope mingled with dread, for he knew their journey was tied to the fate of the empire itself. Their descent was cautious, the narrow tunnel forcing them to move single file, the air growing colder with each step as if the earth sought to preserve the secrets it held. They passed chambers where ancient altars stood, their surfaces stained with offerings long turned to dust, and the faint outline of murals depicted battles fought under skies split by celestial fire. Zeren paused at one such mural, her fingers brushing against the image of a king holding a glowing stone, and whispered that the past and future were but reflections in the same eternal mirror, a riddle that haunted Artaxerxes as they pressed deeper into the labyrinth's heart. Their torches sputtered in the stale air, casting eerie shadows that danced like phantoms, and the merchant gripped his amulet tighter, trusting its guidance through the maze of stone and shadow. Meanwhile, Cyrus's group reached a vast chamber, its ceiling lost in darkness, where a pool of still black water reflected the torchlight like a mirror of the night sky. At its center stood a pedestal, empty but carved with the same symbols Darius had seen on the scroll, and the hum that had guided them now thrummed like a heartbeat, shaking the ground beneath their feet. The scribe read aloud the final verse of the ritual, a plea to the spirits of old to judge their intent, and as his words faded, the water rippled, revealing ghostly figures rising from its depths, kings of ages past, their eyes glowing with the light of 1,000 stars. They spoke in a tongue long forgotten, their voices a chorus of wind and time, demanding a test of loyalty, wisdom, and sacrifice to prove the worth of those who sought the gem. Cyrus stepped forward, his gaze unwavering, ready to face their judgment, while Darius and the warriors stood behind, their breaths held as the air shimmered with unseen power. The spirits pointed to 3 archways at the chamber's edge, each leading to a trial, and the king chose the path of sacrifice, believing that true leadership meant giving for the sake of others, even under the darkest of skies. As they entered the archway, the chamber behind them sealed with a grinding of stone, trapping them in a tunnel where the air grew thin and the walls pulsed with a faint, otherworldly light. At that very moment, Artaxerxes and Zeren emerged into the same chamber from a different passage, their torches illuminating the now empty pedestal and the still water that held the lingering echo of the spirit's presence. Zeren knelt by the pool, her reflection merging with the inky depths, and saw a vision of Cyrus and his band facing their trial, their fates intertwined with her own. She urged Artaxerxes to choose an archway, whispering that their purpose was to balance the king's path, to face a trial of wisdom where riddles carved in starlight would test their minds. Together they stepped through the second archway, the stone ceiling behind them as it had for Cyrus, and the labyrinth seemed to hum louder, as if acknowledging the convergence of two quests under the unseen gaze of the heavens. The trials ahead would challenge them all, weaving their stories into a single tapestry of courage and wonder, a saga to be whispered in the quiet of twilight for ages to come. The Achaemenid Empire, vast under the eternal night, awaited the outcome, its destiny hanging in the balance as the labyrinth revealed its deepest secrets to those bold enough to seek them in the shadows of dreams.